single round scores, the average is typically 1 or 2 under par. Like your most common single round scores are your 70s, your 71.
Sergio has been like, I can't wait to leave this place. Rah, 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 rah.
Yeah. And good evening, another Divots and Pivots. We are here, episode 28 on this beautiful Tuesday night. And you missed it because here in New England, it is a solid, it feels like it's like 100 degrees right now with the humidity and the mugginess of the night air. I know it's not, but you missed it. Bud was giving us a little show off camera before changing his shirt from being in a basement here in New England, and Bud disappears. He's going to leave me alone to talk about my golf round today. That is awful. Anyways, so we're going to wrap up what is, I guess you consider the regular season of the PGA season this year, because we get the Wyndham Championship this week, and Bud is back.
That's how hot it is. That's how hot it is. My
computer
just frizzed on me.
His shirtlessness before the show. But as I was saying, we get the Wyndham Championship this week, ending what you can call the regular season of golf before we head into the FedEx playoff tournaments. And we're going to touch, obviously, on how LIV has affected the landscape of what those playoffs look like now. We're going to talk about the Wyndham Championship this week. We got some guys on the bubble trying to get into the playoffs, so there's some stuff around there. But we're also going to talk about some random stuff today. Like I mentioned, I had a round of golf today. Lots of lows, a couple really nice highs, so we're going to get to that. Get some video clips. We'll have Bud break down a couple swings live here because they're entertaining, to say the least. And we're going to see how it goes. But on that note, Bud, welcome to the show as always. How are you tonight?
Raise your hand. Raise your hand if you got a notification from DraftKings that your account was credited money this week. If you're listening in the car, Bud's hand is up. Andrew's is not, because Bud did very well and Andrew did not.
Well, it's not that I did bad. Like we both
out hot.
We both scored very well. Like as far as DK points goes, I just finished just outside the green because I only had 4 of 6 make the cut.
Well, let's do it live. That's the mantra for today's show. It shouts the old Bill O'Reilly clip. F it, we'll do it live. I don't even know what the context of it is, but it's a great meme. It's a wonderful GIF or Giphy. Yeah. I don't know what it is. I get corrected all the time. Jiffy. But nice little pop-up notification. But let's get the score. Let's get a little score update for the folks out there, because coming into the week, you had some catching up to do. Sitting on the season right now, Boudreaux's up there at 10. This is our official Divots and Bivots scorecard. Scoreboard,
coming a little blurry if you're watching.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I just wanted to let you know that we do keep things legit. And Bud's in the lead with 1043.5 to Andrew's 896.5. We'll call it 9. It's pretty much the 8th inning. So, we got like $150 to make up. I scored 509.50 this week. What were you toting in? I
believe that's what I was just looking up, because I believe it was.
I gave you enough. I gave you enough time. Did you not hear how much I was rambling there?
But I thought you were saying you had already written it down, because I did text it to you before.
Oh, come on! Like I pay attention.
Why is DraftKings now choosing the time to make me re-sign all of their little
agreements?
Like, what in the hell is this? So I scored 431. I scored 431 on the dot this past week. And can I just say, what broke my back and absolutely kicked me in the balls, and
family show
from being a lot closer to you in the points, was Mr. Davis Riley looking like a normal one of us everyday golfers out there from one hole after being 4 under on the round. Putting himself at 5 under for the tournament, and he got to, I want to say it was like the 10th or 11th hole. I forget the exact hole number, but he goes out there and drops a quadruple bogey. And
do you think less of me if I cheered when I saw that, because I knew exactly what that did to your spirit?
It just crushed me, because before that I was like, okay, like I'm cruising, like I still had Matt Kuchar, who did not make the cut, who I knew was going to be bubble watching right on the line the whole day. But when I saw that how Davis Riley was shaping. I was okay, 5 or 6. I can still do some work with that. I can still make some money with that. Did not shape out.
Well, you deserve everything you get. Shame on you. And there's one other person I know who played Cooch this week. I've already had words with him, and he sustained. Have you ever played like beer league softball?
Yes.
Okay, so adult league softball is the freaking best until you get those pitchers who like to backspin it and tell you that you're not a jerk for anyway.
Or the people who show up in actual baseball uniforms and try to run people over on the bases because they take it too serious.
Right. I mean, there is a time and place for that, but if I'm sitting on a cooler in the dugout, let's begin. Let's set expectations right there. No, so the guy, good buddy of mine who from the other league. Played Cooch this week, and I think karma bit him because he went out to an adult league softball game earlier this week and reminded us that we're 40 sooner than we think. And he sent me a picture earlier today, like the back of his hamstring that he said he pulled. He said he just went out there cold and tried to leg out a single and pop.
Yep.
And it's like black and blue. And like, good. Oh God. So thoughts and prayers to Dave on the North Shore. But yeah, that's what you get for playing Matt Kuchar.
Well, speaking of age, because, I played with I went out solo, and we'll get to my round in a little bit, but I went out and played a round of 18 today. Went out at an early morning tee time solo, got put with a nice gentleman in his 70s who plays in league there. So it was nice because I had never played this course, Amherst Country Club. I never played this course, so it was nice to have someone who plays in a league there playing with me because he was able to give me the rundown on every hole, which is very good because there's a solid 5 holes where you have to double back on the car path to get to the next tee. I would have been at least 2 occasions, I would have been hitting to the complete wrong fairway or hole. So it was very useful for him to be there. But he was telling me about the league he's in, and he said he's in like his mid-70s or whatever, and he's one of the youngest guys in his league. He said they've got a bunch of guys in their 80s, 85 or whatever, and they still shoot their age from the blacks. And they go out there, play 18, shoot their age in the low to mid set 80. They actually had 3 guys this past week break 80 that are 80 plus years old. And I'm like, good for that. And still playing from the blacks too. Like, they're not playing from the golds. They're out there furthest tees crushing sub 80 scores in their 80s. So hats off to the Amherst Country Club Golf League.
Shouts to the boys and girls up in Amherst Country Club.
Yeah.
What tees did you play from? So you're up in Amherst. What tees?
Yeah, so their tees are other than the gold and the red, that's then white, blue, and black, and we played the blues today.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And how did we do?
So let's bring in a very quick 7-second clip here where you're gonna see the start of the round, and you're gonna see me try to black out or block out the beginning of the round here. As we started off, and there's the par I started off with on hole 4.
It happens, though. You got one on the card early.
Yeah, so I did get that one. That is where things turned around for me because look, I started out.
So for those listening, though, why don't you read off those first?
And that's exactly what I was going to do. So mind you, I came in pretty cold, no warm up. Got put with this guy about 15 minutes before my actual tee time, so I was rushing in. Hadn't played in since our live show. So I just swung recently. Excuses, I know, excuses. But so I came out, shot a not. Actually, I came out worst thing. First tee, I whiffed. Wasn't a practice swing. Swung right over the ball. Just a big old swing and a miss. So
Quick question: Were you nervous?
No, so I wasn't nervous. I just I
wasn't going to knock you for it. I was actually going to say
there's been other times where I'm nervous, like playing with someone I don't know or in front, but there's no one watching. It was just this one guy in the starter, so I wasn't nervous. I was just out of sync, and I just missed.
Did you chat up the starter?
No, he wasn't very talkative. I tried.
I love grumpy starters, and I love trying to break them.
Because 8 o'clock in the morning, like, come on, man, it's a beautiful day out. It was a beautiful day for golf. It was great out there. Yeah, so I was not watching. I started with a 9, and then turned around on hole number 2, which is par 5, and got myself another 9. So really came out flying, and then doubled the par 3 third. So still we're moving a little bit better. Doubled the par 5 fourth. So I was like, okay, this is just going to be this day. Not a single green in regulation, not a single fairway in regulation. I was spraying the ball over the place. I think I lost 6 balls already at this point. So, yes, Piper, I will be buying more. You'll see my order soon. And then, but yeah, then it was the whole five. It was a par four, 374 from the Blues. Then somehow managed to put together a par, and it got a lot better from there. I think I had a total of 3 pars in the day. I had one birdie opportunity I didn't convert. But then the highlight was on the 18th hole to close it out. I hit a 30+ foot, swooping downhill, uphill, like the elevation was changing. It moved left to right twice, and freaking right down the middle of the cup for par.
That was the cliche, stereotypical, the one that's going to bring you back.
Bring you back for more. Yeah, so that was
kudos to you for admitting the triple digits flying solo. You probably could have easily shaved off a stroke here or there.
And I've done that in the past, but as you can see, I was actually trying to write down greens and regulations. No, I didn't, because look, I'm not out here thinking I'm good at golf or anything, but I do want to go out there and at least improve. Right. I'm not trying to be like you and be able to hit in the 70s. I'm not going to be able to do that, but I would like to improve to where I can maybe break 90 at some point.
Step one to losing weight is stepping on the scale.
Well, yeah, and so considering I started out with the 2 9s that you saw, and then back-to-back doubles after those 2 9s. Considering that I then was able to turn around the rest of that front 9 for a 53 and then a 48 on the back 9 for a 101 through 18. Like the fact that I was able to turn that around, I did play good the rest of the way. I was putting ridiculously good.
Listen, you're finding silver linings. You improved from front to back. This course breakdown brought to you by Nitro Pepsi Draft Cola. I saw this and figured I'd give it a shot real quick. The only reason I bring this up is because I was just going to quietly pour it into a cup until I saw what the instructions were, and I need a little help there. It says
Nitro's interesting.
Nitro Pepsi. I mean,
but Nitro drinks anything. Don't you have to like hold it upside down, like shake 3 times or something like that?
It says chill can, pour hard. That's what it says.
So just what's that like? That's pour hard.
Pour hard. I don't know. Pour.
Oh,
hard.
It just means hold it straight up.
Yes, it does. But I didn't know that. Why does it?
I didn't know that was what it was called.
Neither did I. I mean,
I literally thought you had to like shake it out.
To all the bartenders, is it like?
It's just like that. Wrong? No, that's how you do it right there, man. We're gonna get a live tasting here. Pepsi, if you want to sponsor us, shoot us some love. We'll drink Nitro Pepsis.
Yeah, once you're done negotiating the next Super Bowl halftime show, just have your people call our people.
Yeah, we'll do you a favor. We will broadcast the halftime show if you would like on this podcast of ours.
You know what? Divots and Pivots did miss out on an opportunity last weekend. My boys in my Saturday morning league. So I'm in a Saturday morning league every other Saturday morning up at the Meadow at Peabody. Shouts to Peter out there for putting together the MTA every year. We love him. But no, he actually asked so last week was the club championship, which is not part of the MTA rotation. It's always in an off weekend. And I always, my dumb ass for the second year in a row, planned a trip up to Maine to see my in-laws at the farm. Quick pause. That was a wonderful experience. I had a blast. I love them. I love the farm. The kiddo loves it. We went on like a 4-wheeling ride. 4-wheeling? Who was the city boy? We went on like this off-road vehicle through the bog, I guess you would call it. And it was a wonderful time. But they asked me a week before, and he was semi-joking. He's like, hey, Divots and Pivots going to cover the club championship? And I was like, you know what? I was playing it, I know. I said, if I was playing in it, and I said, Andrew, we'll give you a cart. We'll give you, just a cart.
I drive around with my camera and a microphone and just talk to people.
All right, so here we go. Nitro Cola Pepsi.
Nitro Cola Pepsi.
It smells like Pepsi and it looks like flat Pepsi. I bet. You know what? I bet it's going to taste like.
I noticed the look. Let's see.
It's going to taste like flat Pepsi. Watch. Oh Jesus, that's delicious.
Is it really?
It's there's not a lot of bubbles to it. Oh, it's sweet, it's syrupy, and it does. It kind of tastes like.
So that's interesting.
It kind of tastes like flat Pepsi, but not in a gross way. I don't know.
I'm gonna have to try this because
you can see bubbles. There's definitely bubbles. There's some stuff in there.
So here's my question. So why is it so you're not supposed to just pick it up at the gas station and drink it in the car or out of the can? Like,
no, it's just pour hard and drink easy.
Interesting.
I don't know about the drinking easy part, but smooth, creamy, easy to drink, and it actually does describe it. If it
Describes it pretty
wasn't,
solid.
if it wasn't 230 calories per can, and let's see, what's the sugar? What's the sugar on this?
Off the charts.
62 grams of sugar. My
Jeez.
insides are. We're gonna put this down. My
There you
insides are hurting. Let's go
We're
back
about to, in the next 15 minutes, what you're going to see here is a Bud sugar high and then sugar crash. he's gonna peak and die. No, I know it won't happen.
Never. All right, let's.
But I say before we do move on to some actual golf,
Back
I
to your
did want your take on it because I do have one shot here. This was my one good drive of the day because that was my biggest problem out there today. Is I could not get off the tee. But what we got here is my one.
I'm sure there was some club selection involved. I'm sure there's some strategy missed. If it wasn't that long, you said you were ripping drivers, and it's like
I was because I hit that point where I was determined to get a good one. Like, and so I was just being stubborn, and I know that I could have pulled out my hybrid or a 3-wood or something, or even an iron. But you know what it was is that a lot of these holes, especially on the back nine, once I was realizing I wasn't hitting the driver well, a lot of the back nine holes off the tee was you had to get it over some shit, or like it wasn't like you could. There was a lot of space to lay up or something off the tee. Like you had to make sure you got it over some stuff. So, which always makes me a little nervous, but. This was my one good drive.
Not a big forced carry guy.
Yeah, no. Like, so you're going to be able to hopefully see this ball for like a quick second after it leaves the club. It's going to start out just slightly left, and you're going to see it. By the way, disclaimer here.
Sorry, I forgot you were left-handed. That really
no, I'm not left. That's exactly what I was going to say. I'm not left-handed. This playback is doing mirror for some reason.
Why were you swinging left-handed? Never mind.
I'm not
I'm joking.
You little shit. But so you're gonna see this ball start out left and turn back to the right. I put this one down over that tree out on the right side, out in the fairway there, over that tree, and about I think I said like 50 feet off the green. So I absolutely crushed this one. But let me know what you see. Oh, you don't want to know.
Same thing. Got to follow through with your weight. You don't have any weight transfer. You actually fall backwards, which means you're swinging with nothing but arms.
So, and I noticed. So that's funny you say that because I did notice. Oh, that's a weird place. Where to stop the camera there? The
moneymaker.
So I noticed that there was one swing in particular where I did notice that where it was very, very noticeable where my back shoulder, like I leaned back and I was like, well, wait a minute, that doesn't feel right at all. So I do have to figure out how to keep that weight forward. Maybe that'll solve it because I was hooking the ball all over the place today.
Yeah, because you fall backwards and then you're slinging, like you're basically slinging. I mean, it's almost like you're hitting a fadeaway topspin backhand in tennis. That's what's going on there. And I think I said this when we were playing on the indoor thing. If you look at the PGA Tour logo, if you look at Tiger Woods, if you look at any successful golfer, the reason they finish the way they do up on their back toe, like leaning forward and everything, isn't because they're posing for the camera. It's because they have pushed all of that weight and energy through the ball somehow. It's weird. If you slow it down, you could probably make an argument. Well, this person's, kind of digging in almost like a baseball style. I'm like, all right, don't get in the freeze frame mode. They're all the same at impact, and they're all using the ground. If it looks like they're squatting down, go to the next frame because they're probably jumping up. If you look at guys like Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth, Will Zalatoris, even, they're not the still love Butch Harmon. Will Zalatoris looks like a 1-iron without the grip, which to me just kills me. But one thing that they all do better than just about anybody is they use the ground and they're up on their toes at impact. And it's weird because my wife / roommate always bust my jock because she was a collegiate cheerleader. And you want to talk about athletes? I mean, they're one of the most athletic groups out there. And if watch the Netflix series Cheer, and try not to get distracted by the pedo in there because there was a guy who got busted for some kiddie stuff, and I don't want to get down that dark path.
We don't. But you're just giving an example. We got you.
But the rest of the show is phenomenal, and it also has some insight into like, oh, it's brutal, like hardcore cheering. they're chucked 2-3 stories up in the air, and if they don't get caught or land wrong, one scene this girl pops her collarbone out, and the coach is like, man, that's tough, next man up. Where's Sarah, get in here. It's like, oh my god, somebody put an ice pack on her. But anyways, golfers are athletes, and to be able to hold that kind of balance and then use the force of the ground and your body and all that weight and generate all that energy and maintain balance is something that's incredibly difficult to do. So shouts to Tiger Woods though for getting it all started. I mean, about 4 or 5 years before it's amazing. One of my favorite pictures that has come out of the Open is the picture of John Daly and El Tigre chatting it up on the putting green, and just the statements that say like these two humans are both considered at the pinnacle of their sport, and it's just mind-boggling because golf's like that. So anyways,
it is. And when it comes to the golf swing,
weight transfer, you got to be getting. So Xander Schauffele does a great job of loading, and you can actually look up videos of him where like he's doing a drill with his dad / coach, where he loads and then just sits there and waits. And it's almost like a trained dog. And then his dad will say like now or go or something. And then he snaps through and he hits a full flush shot. It's incredibly hard to do. So that would be my number one thing is like, you can tell that you either used to play baseball or hockey, because you definitely have that little bit of, you definitely kind of get into that mode. But when you instead of just squishing the bug, you got to squish the bug and then push off all at the same motion, all at the same time.
Now, I've seen people say to start with your shoulder, your front shoulder. I forget your lead shoulder either down or up to almost like cheat your way towards that weight transfer. Have you heard that one? I'm blanking on whether it was up or down. It's kind of it is. You use the right word, cheat. I mean, it is. Yeah. It's not necessarily a healthy. Listen, I don't know how many millions of golfers there are in the world, and so to sit here and be like, if it works for you, great. What the most important thing again is, are you making consistent impact with the ball? If you're making consistent impact in the center of the club face, then it doesn't matter. Hashtag Matthew Wolf, hashtag Jim Furyk, hashtag Bubba Watson. 2 of those 3 guys just jumped ship for live. Never mind. But they're wonderful ball strikers. Yeah. If you're making, how about Colin Morikawa? If you're making, he's got a beautiful swing. Point being, if you're making solid contact, doesn't matter. But for a guy like you or anybody who's still learning or developing, and they're not like stuck in these ways, or it's not like, I don't know, I've been doing it my whole life, and you're 6 handicapped, and it's like, who might have tweaked that? Yeah. But to develop good habits, if you're thinking about like your shoulders and shit, you've already lost. So what I noticed today, because I was getting so frustrated how I couldn't get off the tee, I started to really think or try to be observant of like what I was doing. And so one thing I came up with is like sometimes I focus so much on slowing down my backswing that I slow down my backswing, which is fine. But then those seem to be the shots that I pick up my head, because it's almost like, okay, I slowed down my backswing, but I didn't slow down the rest of my body movement. So now my body's still moving. Like I'm picking up my head too early, because I'm thinking I'm doing my normal motion for the rest of my body, but my swing is now like a step behind.
Another one, go to take any good swing, and I think Brooks Koepka's another live guy. What is it with me and live today? But he's another one. He's one of the best ones that I remember. I just think of this. When you say you're picking up your head, it's nice to know that you're recognizing that. Now just fix it. I mean, right? Like isn't
that the game of golf?
No, this is keeping your head down is one of those things that you can fix at any given moment. There's a lot of swing quirks where if you're in the middle of a round, you just kind of have to go with it. You said you were hitting hooks all day. I'm sure at some point you were like, screw it, I'm just going to aim right and roll with it. Like if you're mid-round.
And then you know what happened? I hit one straight. And it went into the woods to the right.
Occam's razor or whatever it is about the dumbest thing, simplest thing happening or whatever obvious thing is going to happen. Well, point was, if you're mid-round, roll with it, but keeping your head down, or sorry, any other swing tweak, don't mess with it mid-round. Just go with it. Work on stuff at the range or in your backyard or your garage or whatever, except for keeping your head down. You identified that, you can do it. Your shoulder tells your head to come up. Brooks Koepka, after impact, that shoulder almost punches his chin to come up. Tiger, they all do it. Their impact, and they're looking down post impact, and it's really, if you couldn't see me, I was making a really good like post impact face. But that's what's gonna get your head to come up. That you can fix, no problem whatsoever. What was the other thing you were complaining? Oh, well, the thing you were talking about your swing. Hold on, real quick. Your swing speed, slow and fast are irrelevant. Nick Price used to have a swing that looked like he was whipping a pony. Ernie Els is called the Big Easy for a reason. Speed is irrelevant. Tempo is what's important. So it's not so much about having a slow backswing and then whipping it in there, because slow, fast. That's not golf. That's baseball. Load, and then trigger. Just go. Golf's a pendulum. So whether that ball and the pendulum is swinging fast or slow, it's swinging consistent. It's swinging with tempo. So those two things, ironically enough, are what I'm big on right now myself, which is tempo and head down. And I notice when I keep my head down, never shank, knock on wood. And if I think tempo, then usually the rest of my body relaxes. Yeah. And then it just flows from there. Now that takes repetition and time, and that takes range work. That takes balls, taking a 5-iron, nothing but a 5-iron with one bucket of balls, which for most people, they cringe. They want to hit a couple of warm-up shots and then start cranking drivers. Yeah. You're going to hit maybe a half a dozen drivers in a normal round. And here in New England, where, the golf courses are a lot shorter off the tee sometimes, they had to get creative. You're going with driving irons and stuff. So do yourself a favor. When you practice like a 5, 6, 7, practice 150 yards in, because that swing will translate much cleaner to a driver than if you spend all that time grooving that driver, baby. And then you realize I'm not slapping a ball off a tee anymore. I have to make crisp downward contact, which when you have that swing down, when you're making that kind of descending blow on the ball, to switch it to a driver, you just put it up in your stance, because then that descension is on the upswing. So this is free. This is on the house. Otherwise,
well, I will say when it comes to keeping my head down, a trick that I have learned over the years and have done and have worked to get my head out of the popping up stage is to bite the collar of my back shoulder. And it, like you said, it then ties my head into the rotation of that back shoulder coming through. It's not going to move until the shoulder moves. And that tends to, if I do it for a swing or two, then I try it without, I'm more likely to stop picking up my head. And if I feel myself consistently doing it again, I just bite the collar again for a couple swings and correct myself.
Bite the collar. It sounds like you and your boyfriend had a spat. But whatever it is, though, that's funny. It's funny you say that you bite the collar, because something they pointed out on the telecast last weekend was Will Zalatoris tucks his shirt sleeve up into his armpit when he putts, and he does that to make sure that thing. That sounds good. That thing stays close to him. Jack Nicklaus, same thing. He had a little quirk right before his swing. His head would tilt back. Yeah, and that was to make sure that he did not look up a little bit more. So.
Well, Keegan does that same thing. If you watch Keegan Bradley, he does it almost in stages where he starts to inch his head slowly up. So Keegan does that.
We don't say his name anymore.
But I've heard that it's with the arm thing. I've heard that where if you put a spare golf glove up under your armpit and make sure it stays there through your swings, and just some sort of tangible way that you can see if you're doing it right. Because sometimes when you swing, you're just I wasn't even thinking. Well, I don't know if I did it right. I don't know what worked that time.
You do know if you did it right. Where'd the ball go and how'd it feel?
Or if you mess something else up, you know what I mean? Yeah, there's so many things, so many parts of a damn swing. It's ridiculous.
No, actually, a proper teaching pro would have slapped me for that, because it's no, it's not always just about where the ball. Because if the swing isn't good, and then I always fire back, and I'm you are right. If you're,
I did almost hole out from about 100 yards. Like 9 inches from 100 yards out. Okay. Very close. It rolled right past the side of the hole. And I didn't even realize it was that close until I got up and saw where the ball stopped. And went, holy shit, I almost put that in the hole, didn't I?
Did you make the putt?
Yes, I made the putt. That was one of my pars.
Don't.
That was one of the pars.
So work backwards. 9 inches for par. a buck, 100 yards for your third shot. Why were you in that situation? What happened off the tee?
Because it was I probably topped it off. I don't remember exactly, but I probably topped it off the tee and hit it about 100 yards, rolling into the edge of the fairway, and then had to pull up my hybrid to get it down to within 100. Because, like I said, and that's what saved me today. Because even though I couldn't get off the tee, I was hitting my hybrid and I was hitting my low irons, like pretty flush, and was able to get those out into position to at least not get the green in regulation. But I was giving myself par putts, at least definitely on the back nine. On the back nine, I think I had a par putt on just about every hole.
If you're putting for par on every hole, then you're doing all right. I mean, that's for damn sure.
Like I said, it turned around on the back nine.
Well, good. The league this weekend. We have two man team quotas. I have no idea what any of this means. I just show up and play, but I think this is the one where it's points. So you get 2 points for a par, 4 for a bird. Or
is it based off your handicap too, like birdie and par, based off your handicap, or is it just
you just get strokes. I mean your boy gets none, but the guys I play with get, I think like 6 to 10 is the range. So it's a fun group to play with, and we always have a little side match going. But nice. 2 weeks ago, I need a little redemption. 2 weeks ago, kind of had things not in hand, but was definitely in a position, and then just shit the bed on the back. As a matter of fact, I had it to 3. I think I was 3 under through 8, and then just
we gotta flip that. That was a fantastic impression of that noise, man. That sounded like a recording. I'm clipping that. We're gonna end the intro with that every episode now. Just wait, because
you need to. I've been messing around with it.
I've been messing around with the editor and trying to get better at that. So you're probably gonna see some random clips starting to pop up because I need to try it out and be better at it. But Dan, yeah. Anything else on the game you wanna critique me on before we get into Piper really fast? Because I'm gonna be telling people where to go to get Piper balls because I'm gonna be going to place another order after today.
No, I think if you need to watch a lot of good swings, and then literally try to replicate them, but really focusing on the follow through, the finish. Like I mean, that's kind of how I learned. Literally, was just watching it and going out and trying to replicate it. And again, having been a baseball player like yourself, if you can make consistent hand-eye like contact, the ball's not moving. So if you can make that consistent contact, repetition after repetition, it'll work.
Makes sense to me. And on that note, talking about repetition, something that always works. Piper golf balls always there for us. I was able to chat up my golfing partner today about Piper Golf. He seemed interested. I told him to go check out piper.golf. So same thing I'll tell you guys. Go check out piper.golf. Check, or I should say check. Take their golf quiz. Find out which one of their balls are perfect for you. They describe how they're made, what's inside, and why it makes a difference depending on what your handicap is, why it affects the spin, why it affects the softness and the way the ball flies. So go check out. There's a lot of fun information on there to really learn about golf balls. Use our discount code DIVPIV, DIVPIV, and you'll get a discount on your order. So go on there, use DIVPIV at piper.golf and order your next round of balls. So go check it out. I will be placing that order later this week as well because I lost my last ones today. And you're on mute, bud, or something happened to your audio.
No, I was on mute. It's classic BS. You were doing a read, so I decided to not risk it, which is a good thing because I probably would have said something like that. Now I've got a sleeve of Piper Blues that I'm saving for this scramble I got coming up because they're just a little bit harder. So maybe a couple extra yards off the tee. So once again, but we're going to put the golds to test this weekend.
Nice.
More to come on that. Speaking of more to come, it's just around the corner. One of us has got to fill out the media credentials. I would be more than happy to do it because the live tour is coming to town.
Let me check if they're available yet while you're talking.
And I caught Greg Norman's interview. He was on Tucker Carlson on Fox News, and I guess Tucker went out to the tournament at Bedminster, just outside of New York City, to see what it was all about. And it first of all, that's where it finally came out confirmed. When Liv did approach Tiger, it was like $700-800 million, and Tiger said thanks, but no thanks. It's great. I saw a meme going around today. It was a picture of Tiger smiling. It was like, low ball offer. I got 1.5 in the bank, and that's after a divorce. And I was like, damn, which is true.
The credentials are not yet available for Boston. It just says early August still, so we will keep an eye out for that.
We'll keep an eye on that because we'd love to bring you all some divots and pivots angled content from Live Golf, or at least what the experience is like. Because again, I'm intrigued, and what's funny is everything's turning out exactly as Boudreaux foresaw, even down to the point where there's some alternative stylings going on for next fall. So fall 23. The PGA Tour has announced there's going to be some special stuff going on there where they're going to have special tournaments that only the top 50 from the FedEx Cup points are able to get into, and they've got higher purses. Ding, ding. That was my call. And then the other one is, this was an easy one. Everybody knew they were going to do it, is starting next season. I think it's only the top 60 or 70 get into the first, the FedEx St. Jude. So that's going down. We already talked about the increased purses. I like the schedule itself. I heard one of the players bitching about how they got to go from, I think, like South Carolina to Korea and back, and then to like Detroit. And he's like, that's tens of thousands of dollars in travel expenses. And he got shredded on Twitter because people are like, I hear you. I do. I mean, I do. Yeah. But at the end of the day, you're still, like, this is your line of work. I get it. Somebody, he's like, I haven't seen this is my 6th straight, week on the road. Haven't seen my family. And somebody was like, nobody put a gun to your head and say, go be a touring pro.
You can walk away anytime you want.
Right. And do respect to those guys. Cause I mean, it's gotta be a hard life. And I'm not, I got a 2-year-old upstairs. I'm telling you right now, like the thought of being away from her for more than a weekend is tough sometimes. Sometimes it's all I can think about is being away from her. Anyway, I'm just kidding. She's the cutest thing in the world. Her name's Cooper Rose. Those guys are out there, and next year it's going to be a little more fun. There's going to be a little more moving parts. But after listening to Greg Norman on Tucker, I think it's inevitable that there's going to be some sort of partnership agreement. There's a couple things going there. First of all, these guys did sign for all this money. It is exhibition style because Henrik Stenson just won after being incredibly mediocre. He was a Ryder Cup captain. All right. That shows you the level of competitiveness that he was actually exhibiting. And then he comes out, he's like, certainly played like a champion. Wouldn't you say I played like a champion today? No, you did not play like a champion today. You played an exhibition match and came out on top. I'm just trying to be objective about, because I love Live. Like I actually do. I'm kind of not a convert, but I want to go see it. I want to see it in action. It sounds like a party. It sounds like they're doing what they said they were going to do, which is create an alternative product, and kind of put it out there. The way he phrased it was this year was kind of like a beta test. He said that they had this thing ready to launch, and then the Alan Shipnuck cluster, with Phil came out, and he said that's what made them kind of pause, assess, look around, and I believe. Now, everybody's like, oh, he says he's growing the game. This isn't growing the game. Yeah, it is. You might not like the growth. You might not like everything, but don't hate on the people who do, who just because they're a little different. Something that really, really, really jumped out at me. And this is, don't fact check me, fact check Greg Norman. But they did some number crunching themselves, because some of the sponsors that left these players who signed with Live, and he goes, they collectively do something like $46 billion a year in business with the Saudi government. Those specific, and again, I don't know who those sponsors are. We could probably easily figure it out, but that was the eye-opening to me in the sense that, where does it end? Who gets to stand? At what point do we stop standing on pedestals and we all kind of come back down to earth and just live and let live? No pun intended. I really can't believe I really can't believe they don't have a shirt out there yet. Like, right?
We'll have to put you on timeout for that pun.
Oh, I got a better one for you. Wait till they show up to a Pete Dye course. Live and let die. Come on.
Oh,
so Pete just rolled over in his grave.
He sure did. I felt the earth tremble.
But it's so interesting, and I'm not going to say it's like a train wreck, because it's not like a train wreck. It is just like an interesting party that I don't even think they're trying to claim. They're trying to be the fun league.
Yeah.
That's just an alternative, and I get that. I want to see it. I want to see it firsthand, just because also I want to see how arrogant I am. I want to see if I go out there and be like, oh yeah, I can hang with these guys. No, I'm joking. No, I want to go see Brooks, and I want to go see Bryson, and I want to go see DJ.
And that's the thing.
I want to see David Faraday walking around.
Some really good personalities in golf went over there. So there's stories to be talked about when it comes to the golfers on the LIV Tour. There are stories.
I want to bust Henrik Stenson's balls. I really don't. I think he's a wonderful
and because
golfer.
of the size of that tour, still from the media perspective, even from the fan perspective, they're very accessible right now. Still,
well, that's one of the biggest. That's one of the big things. Hell, you can go online, and one of the high end ticket packages includes inside the ropes.
I know.
You can just walk the fairways behind these guys, which it is a different vibe. What I want them to understand, and I guess they already do, they're not trying, is that the kind of guard up from me is the sense of like, as long as we're all clear that we've got like exhibition fun golf and then like professional golf, because and again, until they start playing 72 holes stroke play, unless they're trying to create a new style of golf, which they're this whole league format with teams. Like Bubba signed. Bubba's not playing this year. I don't know if people notice that. Bubba is just a team captain. I'm out here to support my team. And they're trying to do this thing where, all right, they want. So was it my boy Hudson was on the Niblix, which I freaking love. I think I might end up getting some LIV swag here soon, but he was on the Niblix. And so what they want in the long run is they want some billionaire. They want Jeff Bezos, instead of saying, I want a Premier League team or I want an NBA team, to say, I want a LIV team. And here is X, that. And that's what it's going to be. Instead of a NASCAR, kind of vibe where you've got the hat and then you got the one right here and then the one right here, which I'm not knocking. It works for our tour because also the stakes are higher over here. In a strange way, like the stakes are higher where there's less money now. And it's all go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, and then say that happens with the teams and stuff. It's just going to, like you said, it's just going to create a different form of golf. Kind of like, we call men and women on the long drive tour pro golfers. They are pro golfers still. They're a different pro golfer than the PGA pro golfers, but they are still a pro golfer. It's just a different form of it. Maybe that if that team aspect really takes off and they end up with owners and trades and stuff like that, then we're just looking at a different form of golf. It can live and operate on its own, and the PGA would go back to being itself.
And I think that's what's going to happen, is because it's going to lock in with 48. First of all, I think long drivers would actually correct you and say they're professional long drivers, and they wouldn't claim to be golfers. But that's. And by the way, if there's any long drivers listening to us, be like, no, we're golfers, damn it. And then because I also I've talked to a couple people like, I'm not a golfer. Like I just hit this thing a mile because I'm big. So that'd be a fascinating topic to actually get some long drivers on and be like, are you a golfer? Are you a long driver?
Well, and there's a long drive competition coming to, I think it's Connecticut in like September. So maybe.
So this team format might work, and they might get some sponsors. And it might be something where it is an attractive thing. It'll work. It will work when the tours put down their guns. I mean, the Shark's out there, no guns. I have no guns. I have a polo shirt, a hat, and a very thick stack of bills. That's all I got. And I'm just out here having a good time. My players are allowed to go wherever they want. And I think what it is the PGA Tour a little bit. They're a little bit butthurt about the money, right? It's it's a bad look. But I say that will die real quickly. You know why? Phil Mickelson is like the highest earning golfer of the year this year. The dude's 40 over in 3 tournaments. All this is going to do is remove that value or that objective measure of goodness in golf, or how good of a golfer you are, with money. It used to be whoever won the most money that year on the tour. That was that tended to be your lowest scorer, the player of the year, whatever. It just kind of worked out that way, where the better, because that's how the sport used to be designed. The higher you finish, the more money you make. And so that kind of shook out like that. And that's all it's going to happen is it's just going to go away. That's just going to be, instead, it's going to be who has the most FedEx Cup points. who won the most live events. Like, it is going to translate the game because the spigot is open. It's not just going to be the Saudi government and their investment fund. I guarantee you China's going to want to get in the game. They've got some deep pocketbooks with their investment funds. There's going to be some American corporations and people over here who see a marketing opportunity in some places where, because this thing is taking off and they're matched up with the Asian tour, like we talked about, to get those World Cup rankings. Quickly on that, on the Patrick, I got something for you from Patrick Reed. Ready?
Sure. Yeah, hit me. So
Dan Rappaport, shouts to Dan Rappaport, golf reporter on Twitter. Probably works elsewhere. He just doesn't sit on Twitter all day.
I was going to say he's more than just Twitter.
But he says, I think Patrick Reed genuinely did like the idea of playing less golf. Then he realized he had a month off with no tournaments in the summer. And then he went full Ricky Bobby and didn't know what to do with his hands. And so now he's going back to Asia to grind.
Yeah, it sounds about right. Because look, golf is in these guys like blood. It's in their DNA. It's all they know. Like, you know how hard it is to stop that schedule cold turkey. Like, it might sound great, but like it's going to be similar.
He doesn't want to. He's doing it because he's got to now. He's forced to.
But that's what I mean. Like, it's the only way he's going to be able to keep up with the like what he wants to do. So which is the majors. Exactly. Yep. Go ahead.
He closed it with, he goes, it reminds me of what Jordan Spieth told us at St. Andrews when asked about playing less golf. Quote, at this point in my life, I love playing golf. I love playing professionally. I don't want to not play to go do something else. That's where I'm at. This is what I do. And it's kind of like Will Zalatoris. Somebody said, why are you playing this week? Don't you want to take a week off and rest up for the playoffs? He goes, I'm 25 years old. I can barely rent a car. If you hear me talking about being tired, then there's something wrong with my head. Yeah. And it's true because, it's not true. I wouldn't fault somebody to say, like, I'm going to take a week off.
This is where he's going to gain as many experience moments as he can on the tour. You're pointing at your head. He's going to gain he's going to come across more of those mental situations that he's going to learn how to deal with. You only get those by playing.
Do you think Tony Finau, it feels like his back-to-back wins are any cheapened because the second one happened against a Live Tour event?
Not at all.
No. I mean,
back-to-back wins
on the PGA Tour, which is funny because those back-to-back wins put him at right on the bubble for the President's Cup. And I say on the bubble, he's sitting sixth and he's sitting pretty high up. If you don't know how the President's Cup qualifying points work, basically whatever you get in FedEx Cup points, multiply that by 3. They're your President's Cup points. And the top 6 after the second FedEx Cup playoff tournament automatically qualify. And then the captain, Davis Love III, is going to pick another 6 a couple weeks later. Tony Finau sitting at 6, Jordan Spieth sitting at 7, I think. You got to think that Finau's pretty safe. I don't see. I mean, Jordan would have to go like back to back to back to back or whatever. That's 4 weeks. So I think he's doing well. But what's going to be fun to watch this week at the Wyndham Championship is the other bubble. You mentioned it pre-show when Patrick Reed and Brooks Koepka and everybody else that I've mentioned out from the Live Tour, when they all jumped ship, the tour came out and said, well, first time ever, we're just going to remove you from the FedEx Cup standings just for the purposes of the playoffs. If you go to the FedEx Cup standings like somewhere else, they still exist, but they have these like soft rankings. That is what they called them, but they're another official title for them.
Well, they've updated the full rankings on PGAtour.com to not include the Live guys.
Yeah. So that's what I was getting at. They just announced that they're not including them. And so in years past, what happened if a guy was sick or injured or just, bowed out for whatever reason, they would just say, too bad, the field is one less. This year they said, we're not letting these Live guys negatively impact everybody else's opportunity. So everybody just kind of and now Ricky Fowler, come on down. You're the next
Ricky Fowler's number 123 right now.
I'm okay with that. I think our boy I think Smotherman's somewhere up there looking for
Smotherman is 125. He is the bubble. Smotherman. So here's some of the guys right in the bubble because Austin Smotherman is the bubble. Yeah. So Smotherman, Matt Wallace, Ricky Fowler, Kramer Hickok, Chesson Hadley, and Nick Taylor are your last 5 in. So you're 120 to 125. Okay. Those are the guys in and on the bubble with the biggest probably chance to be bumped out. Your first 5 with a chance to come in at 126 to 130 would be Max McGreevy, Danny Willett, Justin Lower, Nick Hardy, and then Cameron Champ is sitting outside the line right now at 130. That one shocked me. I did not like. I knew he wasn't like really popping necessarily this season as far as any wins or anything, but I thought he was playing better than.
He has been playing better. He's been playing better as of late. But was he hurt?
Oh, you know what? Was he hurt? That might be it.
It's Cameron Champ announces he's out for the rest of 2020 with a wrist injury. That's
right.
That was fall of 21. He shut it down, and so late start in January. Yeah, so he's not too far behind, but that explains why he's sitting. That's why he's
27 points. He's 27 points behind right now. Did I do that math right? I did that math right. Yeah, he's 27 points behind. But some other noticeable names who are outside of the playoffs right now. Doc Redman's down at 136. He's been a hot topic name the last couple of years here. Francesco Molinari, another guy who's fallen from grace. Eric Van Rooyen at 134. These are names who have been, names that have been hot topics, at least in the DFS world for their value and for their play. Bubba Watson's out at 149. Bill Haas at 151. There's some solid names missing out on the playoffs this year that you would have thought were in there, and so it should be interesting. The guys
Bill Haas doesn't surprise me just because I think he's on one of those 1-year exemptions, like lifetime exemption, top 30 lifetime money exemption. So it's that actually hurts my heart because I was hoping that he would come back in. What was the other? Bubba Watson we just talked about.
Bubba's at 149. He's the first guy who's under 200 FedEx Cup points. He's at 199.
Bubba Watson?
Yeah.
He's also refresh your browser in about a day or a week, and he's not going to be there at all because he was. I think he's actually going to be at the Boston event, so maybe we can track him down. And maybe the boy from Baghdad will give us 90 seconds because. If I shout out Baghdad or anything like that, maybe he'll be like, what? Not that you can't just look up the Wikipedia page and find out where he's from, but I'm saying I'm a panhandle boy myself.
So that brings up an interesting scenario here. Now, I'm not saying this is what Bubba's doing, but are there guys now who know they're going to miss out on the FedEx Cup playoffs anyways who say, well, screw it. Maybe I go sign for a couple events with Liv, get a nice paycheck, and then look and come this time next year, odds are looking favorable that the PGA and Liv are going to come to find some way to coexist, and I'll be fine in the end. Other guys who are going to take that chance for the paycheck.
I think there's a lot of guys who are betting on the PGA Tour and Liv coming to terms and this moving on. I think they do think this is short-term problems. I think this is short-term problems. I don't think the PGA Tour is vindictive enough to say lifetime ban. They could say that as long as you are, especially if the number locks in at 48.
Yep.
Okay. We know it's not going to be 48 golfers from the PGA Tour proper. You're going to have some DP World Tour, Asian Tour, Sunshine Tour guys in there. Sunshine Tour is the South African tour. If you didn't know, so you're going to have all sorts of world tours putting together those 48 chosen ones, so to speak. And there's going to be. I love the kind of relegation style model. So if that's
I'm always a fan of that.
The PGA Tour could just always say, fine, if you're an active Live player, you cannot play that season on the PGA Tour because it's not lifetime, and they're just saying no double dipping. It's a little too much because there are so many players who need these opportunities to say that you're going to do one or the other, shit or get off the pot. That'll be the first. They'll put their guns down and say, no, we're not banning people for life, but as long as if you're an active Live tour, you cannot play on these tours at the same time. You have to pick one or the other. They'll even say maybe you can go back and forth. Like if you've got a 3-year exemption, they might say, all right, cool. If you've got that 3-year exemption, you want to go play 2 years on Live, and then you got 1 year to hold, right? 1 year to hold on to your card. Good on you, because also there's other ways these guys can earn. There's going to be enough middle ground that it's not going away.
Now imagine this, and this is probably far fetched, but imagine this in January. This is how, say a few years from now, everything comes to kind of this coexisting kind of setup where, you can go back and play 1 year here, and then if you choose to play the PGA Tour the next year instead, like you can do that. It just depends on where you're getting your points, where you're getting your money. Imagine if every January we start getting almost like a national signing day. Like the deadline day where golfers are letting us know which tour they're playing on, or like it's not like a draft per se. You know what I mean?
I was actually thinking about that too with this new fall swing and everything. That I could see the live, trying to wrap things up in October, because then just give players like 60 days to make up their mind, kind of deal as well. And the second part to that though is, yes, I do think that. I don't think that Liv's going anywhere. I think the PGA Tour is gonna, but I do think the players are betting on reconciliation. 2, Bubba jumped because he knew that if he didn't, his seat was going to get taken. I believe that Greg Norman is not. It's too small of a world. I believe that Greg Norman's not lying when he says his phone is literally ringing every day. Maybe not off the hook, but it's ringing every day from these agents and these players saying, you got a spot. And that's the beauty of it. He created this thing where, no, sorry, there's only 48. So I think Bubba might have been saying, excuse me, I'm going to go ahead and just take that check now, because
he knows he's not playing in the playoffs.
I'm not playing in the playoffs.
He's done.
Yeah. So
and he can still get what? He can still get what, like 4 or 5 live events in for the rest of the year and make a big check?
Yeah. So I'm intrigued still. I think it's going to be something to keep, definitely keep watching. They're definitely going to keep growing. I find it hilarious though that anybody who said I want to spend more time with my kids,
it's like that went away real fast.
By the way, well, and he might have meant it at the time. Maybe he might have. But now that you start hearing about it, it's like, it does make sense that they weren't going to throw $100 million at Patrick Reed and only let him play 5-6 times a year. Like, these guys are going to have to put up 14 tournaments. They're going to have appearances to do. And that's for the ones that get the signing bonuses. We're also going to have some of these players who probably are said, I wouldn't be shocked if they hold 4 or 5 spots a year for either unsigned talent or, they sign for quote unquote the league minimum. And then you got to earn your stripes. But either way, hopefully we'll see some fireworks at Live here in a couple of weeks. But before that, it'll be fun to bubble watch and see if Smotherman can hold down any charges from.
Yeah. We've been a Smotherman fan on this show a few times this year. So
Smotherman?
Yeah, so we'll like to keep Smotherman on that bubble and inside the bubble. But man, we just kind of rolled to go for it.
If you were looking for DFS picks, though, check out our Twitters tomorrow afternoon. We will still get lineups out. There will still be minimal explanation to the science. My science this week, don't outsmart yourself. Look for the strokes gained home life. It's either going to be somebody who's tuning up because they're making a run in the FedEx Cup playoffs like Will Zalatoris or Tony Finau, or it's going to be a bubble boy who has that extra motivation. Back to you in the studio. Thank you to In the Clutch. Thank you to Piper. Thank you to Fantasy National.
You nailed them all, right? Oh, and there it is. I was going to say he nailed them all except belly up, but he comes in clutch and brings them in at the end. But that is going to do it for us tonight on this Tuesday night. We will be back next week to our normal viewing time at 8 p.m. We did push it off till 9 p.m. Eastern tonight. I had to play with my daughter, so sorry, guys, but family first. And it was a fantastic time. I saw Cinderella, and it was fantastic. So we'll be back to 8 p.m. Next Tuesday. So catch us here on YouTube, and you can find all the information you need on the Twitter page at Divots and Pivots. And you can also find me at Real Mr. Mallard. You can find Bud at This Bud's For You. Pepsi, remember all the nice things Bud said about your drink. Hit that man up with some merch, and we're shameless, whatever. And we will see you guys next week. And also, like we said, be on the lookout. I'll throw this in there. Be on the lookout. We're going to be keeping our eye out for those live credentials. So if you're curious if we're going to be going, we'll let you know if we get in there. We're hoping. So we'll see you next week, and have a great night, everyone. Catch you next time.